So hey guys, today we're going to be talking about one card combos and why they're simultaneously good and bad for the game. So there's certain one card combos that are completely terrible for the game, I would argue. And these ones are actually not Fiendsmiths. Fiendsmiths actually kind of fine, like no joke. The Fiendsmith one cards, not that big of a deal. If we're just considering like Fiendsmith Engraver attempt to add Tract, or Tract attempt to add Lurry, you can ash this, and then your opponent has 4 cards in hand, and then it's actually not that bad, unless they have another starter, which is, uh, you know, that defeats the purpose. You beat the 1-card starter, right? But there are 1-card starters you just can't beat with a single hand trap unless it's heavily targeted, and that would be something like Mathemax Circular, which is horrible in comparison. So we have Mathemax Circular, which sends Sigma for cost. So because of this, there is nothing you can do to Mathemax Circular when it is activating, pretty much. And then we have Special Summon the Sigma. So at this point, if you were to Ash the Circular, it doesn't really do anything. Just straight up. You can still get into the Link 5, the Terahertz, and you still have like 2 interactions. You're just chilling, considering this was a 1 card. And then if we were to want to really play around the Ash, like Ash on Elimbursion, we could have what's called a single extender, which kind of gets you there. Or you could have option B. We have the option of, just already having diameter, which is annoying. But then we also have another option called simply not making the Elimbursion to begin with, and just making the Terahertz, because there's nothing you can Ash if we're just link climbing up. So yeah, that doesn't quite get there either. But in general, if you drop a single like imperm onto like any point in this line, it becomes pretty useless and does essentially nothing, depending on exactly how your opponent plays this line. For example, the best thing you could do, I think, to play around everything would be if you were to do this specific line. If we do Circular, send Sigma, Special Summon. Circular, then we'll add Mathmech Equation. If we do that, there is pretty much no single point where you could drop a single interaction. Like, we're talking in terms of like Ash Blossom, Imperm, all of that stuff. There should be no 1 card that can stop this combo in terms of generic hand traps now. So yeah, you're not even trading 1 card for 1 card, and your opponent still has combo in some way, shape, or form. But I mean, if we look at the flip side of this, something like a Vanquishal, it becomes not as bad. And speaking of like a circular like 1 cards, we have like Super Heavy Samurai, Soul Piercer. If you normal summon that, yeah, you can't really Ash that. You can't really do much. It goes into like Baron. It searches twice, so even if you Ash once, it's still combo. So that doesn't change anything. If you were to Ash Soul Piercer, it does nothing. They just summon it again, search again. But with Vanquishal, the 1 card for this is not that bad. This is pretty respectable. So all this does is it allows you to pop once. So we will probably do Vanquishal Razin adds Borger, and then we will add Xiaolong, most likely, right? And then next turn we can special summon Razin, and that will be when we add either Xiaolong or Borger, giving us the attributes of Fire plus Dark, allowing us to then pop a monster, and then we can return the Razin to hand as well. So we can normal summon it again next turn to start searching more stuff and getting our plays, I guess. But for the most part, this is just 1 interaction for 1 card. And also you do search some cards, but they don't immediately do anything until a while later, so like 3, where you would probably search I guess Xiaolong a second time, and then Xiaolong can search you a card, and then you start getting your plays done. And this is a 1 card combo, technically, right? But not nearly as heinous as many other 1 card combos. So the most awful 1 card combo I can think of off the top of my head would be something like Terratop. So in terms of like sealing, we have Terratop, special summon itself. So this doesn't even cost your normal summon. And then you add Takatomberg, and then with Takatomberg plus the Terratop, we will then make MX Saber. And then with the MX Saber Invoker here, this allows us to special summon another guy, and then this makes Isolde. And then Isolde, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. You an FTK, you make an unbreakable board, whatever. And yeah, also a one card combo. Keep that in mind, right? And this isn't the only way into an Isolde one card FTK. There are many, many, like a ridiculous amount of one cards that you could do to get into this. Just to throw a few more out there. Normal summon Tour Guide, summon Tour Guide. And then we also have pretty much every single punk card being like a one card into essentially MX Saber Invoker, which then, of course, as we know, goes into Isolde. And then that goes into literally whatever you want. It could be Exodia, for all I care. And yeah, also one card, keep in mind, you know, same as Rosin, you know. Whereas Rosin is just like pop a guy, search some guys that don't do anything until my own turn, in comparison to this, which is pretty ridiculous in comparison. In terms of Flandres, let's remind everyone what Flandres does as a one-card combo, with just a single Rabina. Normal summon Rabina, add Eaglin. Eaglin adds Empen. Normal summon Empen. Empen adds Dreaming Town, I believe, right? Is that not what the card was called? Let's see. Yeah, Dreaming Town. And then next turn at start of main phase 1, after you've done literally anything, I will then once again normal summon Rabina, and then I will be able to add a barrier statue, and then, well, we'll normal summon the barrier statue, and then that's it, right? So I'm pretty sure it's searchable off of this, isn't it? Yeah, it is. For some reason, Flandres adds a level 4 or lower winged beast monster from your deck to your hand, which is kind of questionable because they don't have anything within that level range, right? Because they're all level 1 monsters. And then the rest are like somewhat high level. So weird. Very, very weird indeed. But okay. Essentially, you've floodgated your opponent in two ways. So first off, any special summon monsters in attack position cannot activate their effects. Secondly, you cannot special summon monsters except for wind monsters, and wind, like, pretty much no deck plays any wind monsters. Except maybe something like this. But that's besides the point. And if you were to actually perform a normal summon, there's a good chance your opponent actually has as well the map, which then allows them to normal summon Eaglin and then normal summon Mega Ryza, and then that will just remove your guy from the field, so you can't remove their guy. So yeah, that's great. But if they have a 2-card combo, certain 2-card combos would allow you to just normal summon the barrier statue on the first turn, so that there's even less room to do things, and instead we can grab an omni negate now, and then also do the Ryza thing, potentially, which is terrible. And, you know, reminder, 1-card combo. And while we're at it, you know, you can't maxi this either, which is just great, I guess. Can you improv this? Situational. But, yeah. Terrible time. And, of course, 1-card combo. And some other 1-card combos. Let's say, I don't know, normal summon, I guess. I think, is this guy a tuner? I don't remember if this gets there. No. But essentially, you know, we make Helk. There were a lot of ways, and there still are technically a lot of ways you can make Helk. And if you normal summon guy, make Helk as 1-card combo, there were a lot of ways to do that, like normal summon Sangan gets there. Essentially what we do is we make Hulk, Auroradon, and that also makes VFD. True King of all calamity. So you have that plus like some omnis or whatever. One card combo. So when I say one card combos are kind of good for the game, I don't mean those ones, obviously. The one cards that I'm more interested in are just ones that allow your deck to play at all and do something, even if your hand's not that great, just having some kind of option, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be the most insane thing ever. Just having a something is what we're looking for. A two card, if two cards extends you a bit further and gets you like, I don't know, even 5, 6, 7 negates, it's not that bad, honestly, considering, you know, Yubel gains that many negates off of just normal summon D Lotus. If it was two cards, respectable enough to have that many cards, you know, and we can throw some cards to stop this, not even an issue. Even if you interact with like an Ash, if that just reduces the amount of negates or interactions we get onto our inboard to be less, and maybe not completely stop it, I don't think either player would be necessarily too mad about that, right? Like, if we do normal summon Rosin and we have a second fire monster in our hand, that technically is combo with Xiaolong if we had Xiaolong. But, you know, it doesn't really do anything if our opponent, well, it prevents us from doing the pop and stuff with Xiaolong, so we wouldn't be able to access the Snow Devil, which is fine, you know, if you were to stop this. But yeah, the difference between the Lotus and Razin, it's absurd. Dimensions apart, I would say. So yeah, one card combos, they get out of hand pretty quickly depending on exactly what it is. And I can even remember the Hulk combo like it was yesterday. Normal summon Sangan, link off Sangan, adds Crusadia Arborea special summon to the Almirage zone. Make Hulk using Arborea plus Almirage, special summon either Despot 001, or you would special summon uh, the Synchron, the level 1/1, and then I think that would be Chunk Synchron, right? And then we make Auroradon. Auroradon special summons the tokens, and if you have 001, it would special summon itself here from the graveyard. No hard once per turn, by the way. And then you have the option of, after making something with the 001, in this case, I believe it would be a Cupid Pitch, you can then tribute the Auroradon plus a token to summon one of the Mecha Fan Beast cards. Don't remember the exact name of this one, but it special summons 2 tokens, allowing you to special summon once again the 001. And the differences between these two combos is pretty simple. One of them allows you to also summon Colossus. Yeah, that's the big difference, really. So with 001, you don't banish any cards. With the level 1, yeah, Junk Synchron, I think it was. We can check later to see what Synchron it was, but yeah, I think it was Junk Synchron, right? Oh, no, it's not Junk Synchron, it's something else. Wasn't it Jet Synchron? Oh yeah, it was Jet. Yeah. So Jet banishes itself when it leaves the field, allowing you to have a card to shuffle back for Nemesis Corridor. Allowing you to then special summon Colossus, which is kind of just disgusting in its own way, but whatever. So, yeah. One card combo, by the way. And then, you know, we also have one card combos like this and one card combos like this. And then we have one card combos where you actually just can't trade just single hand trap. So with circular, if we had 2 non-targeted hand traps, like we don't have a Crow or a Bistral, then we would need to do like Ash Blossom on Alimbertian, and then if they have the ability to then go Splash Mage, we would have to negate Splash Mage after as well. And then that would finally stop their one card combo. Keeping in mind that they also have not normal summoned yet, which means they could technically actually go even further. But if they actually did not normal summon as well, like if they have any Cyberse monster at all, they actually can play around Imperm with this whole line. So we go circular first, and then we normal summon whatever Cyberse monster, and then we can link it off for Lingribo. So yeah, Imperm. Yeah, this just doesn't work anymore. Cool, right? And also technically when you make Splash Mage, we also have the option to just make well, we have the option to parallel exceed here, which allows us to do like a jillion different things. So that's disgusting. And now if you have an Imperm, that's a useless card essentially. Doesn't have anywhere to really negate. So that's just pain and suffering as well. So yeah, in general, I'd say one card combos are great for the game in the sense that if you have a crappy one card like Vanquish Soul, then you have a play eventually, and it reliably gets to places eventually. So you have hopes and dreams, whereas if you see like someone just special summoning or normal summoning like something like these guys or a circular, you have in fact just pain and suffering. So it becomes a slog of do you have the hand trap for my pretty much borderline FTK? Or straight up an FTK in this case with Terra Top. Because if you don't, you lose the game on the spot. Like, just straight up lose the game. You don't even get to activate a card. Like, it gets that bad, right? And then there's also, like, boards that are, like, just complete BS, which you're not going to really beat unless you have spec'd your deck specifically for it. So we're talking, like, Lava Golem, Sphere Mode, that kind of thing, Dark Ruler no more. So with Super Heavy Samurai, that end board with just normal summon Soul Piercer ends on like 4 or 5 Omni Negates plus probably a Colossus for some reason. So yeah, that's great. In fact, you know what? You can easily make a Rodon in that deck as well, just because, the Earth machines, which are machines. And you know what? Rodon requires machines. Great. So Omni Negate spam, you probably can even get counter traps in the back row for something like a Dark Ruler no more. If you in this case maybe make a Denla, or you make the level 8 guy, the Visus, that guy would allow you to search an Omni Negate as well. Technically you would also play the Centurion stuff, which could also search you an Omni Negate. But yeah, overall not a great time. And it feels a lot more sacky when we have one cards like that. When we have one cards like Rosin, it feels a lot less sacky, and I feel like gives people like more time to actually play the game instead of just just dropping I guess what would be the comparison? Well, dropping like game ending cards constantly. We're just dropping regular cards. I would say. And I mean, if everything was at the same power level, kind of well, forgetting about I suppose the floodgates, and we were mostly focused on interaction instead, like closer to Yubel, because Yubel doesn't floodgate you mostly. If we had cards like, just imagine a card that was just like circular but on crack, right? But every single one of its effects is very relevant. So in this case, like special summon itself, send dice for cost that do thing. Apollosa can only negate the special summon, then you'd still normal summon the guy, activate the effect to do something like maybe search, but special summon a guy from the deck, and those guys probably do things, so you'd want to apo that, not allow that. And then the cards in the graveyard also do things, so in that case, just off of that one card in hand, you would technically like beat Apollosa with just that card, kinda, right? And if every single one of your cards in your deck, they were on that level, but somehow could not FTK, so that's like a strange contradiction because your cards are doing so much, but yet simultaneously cannot FTK for some reason, then I guess we were playing some Yu-Gi-Oh to some extent in this case, which is also weird to kind of think about. But yeah, if every deck just had something like that, right? Or just all their cards kind of like that, we would kind of be on an even playing field, and you'd have to be more like precise with your play instead of just throwing out all of your negates. Like on Appo, you can kind of just with Yubel, you can pretty thoughtlessly just activate Appo because you're being protected by Nightmare Pain, and kind of same thing with Snake Eye where you're being protected by the Link Rebo. You can pretty thoughtlessly just keep activating Appo on whatever your opponent does, and it does not impact you whatsoever. Because even if you're not doing the most impactful, optimal Appaloosa negates, your opponent, what are they going to do about it? Even after we discount the Appaloosa negates, you might still have like 5 interactions, which is like all the cards in your opponent's hand, pretty much. So 5 or 6, whatever. So yeah, that could just be game on its own. But if we have cards that start to have more value, like circulars, right, then you would have to play it with a lot more precision and target choke points. So for example, like Branded Fusion's choke point is Branded's choke point is Branded Fusion. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, if we hard focus that, we'd be able to kind of stop that, and then the deck wouldn't be able to do much. But if we had multiple pivotal spots that were similar to Branded Fusion, then you would have to stop all of those specific choke points, and that becomes a little bit more elaborate rather than, you know, just I activate card because you activate card, and now you have no more card. GG, I guess, right? So could be a power level kind of issue with the game, but I don't know, it gets pretty convoluted, pretty complicated, and then sometimes we devolve into FTKs and then floodgates. And I do count MPen as a floodgate while we're here, you know? So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I mean, one card combos, they can be pretty fine. Like, for example, with Voiceless Voice, it's actually not that bad, kind of ish. So, let's say we do normal summon low place, barrier, then we grab Saphira grabs us a Skull Guardian, tribute low, special summon back the low plus Skull Guardian, and Skull Guardian then allows us to grab, is this any Voiceless Voice monster? Yep. So then we can grab the Seravis, and we have generously just 2 interactions off of this one card, you know? It's just Skull Guardian, Omni plus Seravis's effective tag out into the other Seravis. And yeah, that's it, right? I mean, there will be some follow-up with Barrier, but overall, not too bad, right? So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.